Hi, hello, welcome back to my witch obsession. If you are seeing this, this would be a horoscope for all 12 signs from August 10th through August 16th. I've written down everything that I want to talk about. Timestamps are in the description box below as always, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the way down there. I will see you at your reading. I love you. Y'all, so I tried filming this intro yesterday, and I don't know what it was, but I kept thinking about it, and I was like, no, I didn't like the way that it like came out. Like I didn't really feel like I knew what I wanted to talk about, and there was just parts of it where I was just like literally like saying whatever. Like I was talking out of my, I don't like to curse on here, but like, you know what I'm saying? And it was not a good look, and I did not like it. I know you guys wouldn't have minded, but I was like, no, like I want to articulate things a little bit differently. But anyways, so it's Saturday and I just finished filming, so we're working in reverse here. Like I already filmed all the signs and now I'm filming the intro. And of course I have my coffee. I ate a little bit before this because I was just like, I don't like to let coffee be the first thing that touches my stomach. So I was like, okay, I'll eat something and then I will film. And I made these like Greek yogurt pancakes and it was really good. And I've been making them nonstop this week because I've just been really liking them because they don't make me sleepy because there's a lot of protein in them. There's like eggs, there's Greek yogurt, so it's really good. And I found it's just like a regular old pancake recipe. You just add Greek yogurt, and then I made like this jam. You just take like blackberries and blueberries, and I throw them into a pot with a little bit of water, like literally like a tablespoon of water, and then some honey. I put like maybe a tablespoon or two, yeah, like a tablespoon and a half, and then I just like boil it for literally like 10 minutes, and then it's just like turns into jam. I did not know that's how jam worked. I thought you had to put something else in it. I know that some people put other stuff in it to like cause it to like coagulate. Is that the word? So I use that to top with some more yogurt on the pancakes. It is so good and it's not too sweet, but it's still like very like rich and decadent, but not like in a way where it's like overwhelming. But I don't know, now that I think about it, I'll link the recipe in the description box if I have the time. But I don't know. I really liked it and I love trying new recipes. I love cooking. I really like getting better at cooking. Even as like a kid, I just was always like around cooking and I used to cook for my brothers a lot. Anyways. Okay. So there's some stuff that I want to talk to you all about, and then I want to gossip a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But the first order of business is obviously the books. So I have finished 3 books. So the first book that I finished was Game Changer. I loved this book, you all. I totally see myself rereading this. So one of my all-time favorite novel like books is The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. Oh, girl. If you don't read Jasmine Guillory for like romance, I highly, highly, highly recommend her. I love her style of writing. It's very fun. I think Jasmine Guillory, I think she's a Libra and I think she has a Leo moon. But I know like I really like books written by Libras because the language is so easy to follow along with. I think Libras are very good authors because like their words are very like concise and very like to the point, you know? But like not in a way where you feel like you're skimping out on details. Like I just think it's like a very easy read. I think that if you're wanting to like ease into reading, you should look for authors that are Libras. I definitely notice like a trend when it comes to authors and like what I read. I tend to read a lot of stuff that's Leo. So like I end up reading a lot of books that were they're authored by Leo placements. I think that's because I'm a Jupiter in Leo and Jupiter's my chart ruler. Excuse me, like my favorite author of all time, Caitlin Doughty, she's a Leo. But yeah, I really like this book. Like I said, the first half of the book, it was just a lot of like them getting down and dirty. But the back half of the book was like actually very like you see the plot develop, and I really like the ending. It was like a good segue into the next book, Heated Rivalry, and now I'm like really excited to read that book, but I'm like holding off so I can like, you know, like pace myself. And I found out that the couple in Heated Rivalry has the last book, The Long Game, and I don't know how Heated Rivalry is, so once I finish that book, I just may have to read the whole series because I don't like skipping around in a series, you know. So I didn't think I'd read the whole series, but let me tell you, if it's good, I'm gonna just do it. The next book that I finished was A Nest for Celeste. I've had this book since like elementary school and I never read it. I don't know why. I never got around to it. I wasn't always really big into reading. When the pandemic started though, that's probably when I started reading a little bit more, but I was still kind of a slow reader at the time. So I started reading like just periodically, and I had like a small collection of books. But then when I started this job, I like really got into reading and I loved it. I don't know, it's really stuck for me. But this book is like a children's book. It's like a lot of pictures. So that's why I was able to finish it so quickly. It's because a lot of the pages are just, you know, like pictures. And it's basically about this little mouse who is navigating her home and like what the meaning of home is. And it's just like very full circle. I'm not gonna spoil it in case some of you want to read it, but I really recommend this. I think that this would be like a great book to like have on hand, like to read, and then you like pass it down to like your children. I feel like there's like a lot of fundamental themes in here that are like integral to like our existence, and especially if you're like a creative person or you just love art, or if you love like, you know, home, like this is like a Cancer book. Like if you are like a Cancer, or if you are even like an Aries, this would be a very good book, because I noticed that Aries placements are like alarmingly sentimental, and Capricorns. But yeah, I recommend this book. It was an easy read and it was really fun and really cutesy, and I love the art in it. The next book is so dramatically different. I finished this one. It's Tender is the Flesh. Oh, the author of this one is Henry Cole. And then, of course, Game Changer by Rachel Reed. But this is by Agostina Basterica. I don't know if a lot of you have heard of this book. It's pretty popular because a lot of people I knew had recommended it to me. And it seems very like, upon first impression, it seemed very grotesque. It's interesting because the author is Argentinian. Is that the word? Argentinian? She's from Argentina. And so was the author of that book called Come Madre, with like the weird themes and like the gross stuff. I don't know what's going on over there in Argentina, but I feel like I need to go over there and see for myself, because y'all know how to write a book, you know what I'm saying? But basically what this book is about, it's about like a dystopian society where they have legalized cannibalism because the animals got poisoned, and or like they like started like getting sick, and it was like in a way where like it made them toxic to humans. And it wasn't even like the animals like you just can consume them, like their very existence was like lethal to humanity. But there was like a lot of conspiracies throughout the book about like the government and stuff. And the basically the main plot of the book is the protagonist Marcos, and he is like navigating his like relationship. Like the first half of the book, it's 200 pages. Like the first 100 pages literally is just talking about his grief, what he's gone through with like his wife and his like child that passed away, and like the society as a whole, like what happened. Like they call the move to the legalization of cannibalism the transition. So the first half of the book just describes that. But then the second half of the book, he gets gifted one of the humans that is meant for, is bred for consumption. They call them heads. And then his relationship with this head is like, kind of like, there was a lot of ironic twists to it, in my opinion. And like, it was just weird. It was like, it's a really gross book, but I have to say, it was a very good read. The ending was very, very good. It really has you like, you know, so I definitely recommend this book. I think that especially if you are like into very books like this that are very like grotesque and very like thought-provoking, it's good. I would never reread it, but I'm glad I read it, if that's the best way to say it. I also have some flowers here. I've really been getting into flowers. We all like flowers, you know, in some way, shape, or form we can appreciate the beauty, but just like these yellow little, I love the mini roses, and then I got like carnations. I love carnations. I love them more and more every time I get them, but I have been appreciating getting flowers just for like should we like put them in the frame a little bit? Yeah. But I have just been really loving flowers just for like the creative part of it, like going to the store, like picking them out, seeing what colors go together, arranging them. And I remember back in the day, like a few years ago, I really wanted to be a floral designer for weddings. But then I just kind of gave up on it because I kept going to this florist and asking them like, oh, can I like be here, you know, like, can I just like help out, you know, like y'all don't even gotta pay me or nothing, like. And they kept saying no, or they kept leaving me like hanging, and it was really freaking annoying. And then they gave me a list of other florists, and then I went to those florists, and they all said the same thing. And I was like, dang, y'all don't want free labor from an Asian person? That's crazy. So for what it's worth, I was just very irritated, and I just like decided no. But now I think it's just gonna be like a little hobby or something that I really like to do, something that I just like do for like fun. I'm kind of in my way here, just barely. And yeah, I just really like, I just like that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about was this. So this is the Fenty Total Cleanser. Y'all, do you remember that soy cleanser that I got from Fresh? It literally, excuse me, started to ruin my life. Like there is literally like, it's not that the cleanser was breaking me out, it's just that it wasn't doing enough. Because when I get a cleanser, I needed to lather, you know, like I needed to be very soapy and very like difficult to rub off my face, you know, like I needed to feel like I'm like scrubbing my face. And so I know that not everyone like needs like a dramatic cleanser, or like, you know, I think the Fresh cleanser was like good for people who maybe don't need like a strong cleanser, like especially if you like the Cetaphil one. It like, it literally feels like, it feels like, it feels like semen on my face. It feels like I'm rubbing semen on my face. I don't like it. It looks like semen. Like, whose kids are these? So I just don't like the texture of it. It's not my thing. But I was trying to look for the Cherry Dub cleanser and I couldn't find it. I just found this one. And I was like, hey, it's Fenty, so I'll get it. Because Fenty, I don't know what Rihanna put in this. I don't know who she thinks she is, but like, she knows how to make a cleanser. That's like my thing. Because the Cherry Dub cleanser is like the one that I've had the best experiences with. But yeah, it was just like, it was very good. And I used this last night and this morning, and I've so far just really appreciated it, and I've just liked it so far. And then I ordered some bed sheets off Amazon. I've been meaning to mention this to you guys since last week, but I completely forgot. But so right now I have a full-size blanket, and it's because when I first moved to California, I slept on a full-size bed when I stayed with a old friend, and it was like a full-size bed, so I got a full-size blanket. But now I have a twin because it was more prolific and, you know, more honorary to my space. And so I, you know, I just been sleeping with it, and I don't like making my bed to where I like lay the blanket out, you know, like traditionally like make how you make a bed. I fold my blanket and put it at the end, as you probably have seen, because I don't like the way it looks. It looks very weird. So I've been wanting to get new blankets, but I always get self-conscious of like disposing stuff because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna go into a landfill. But I was like, I think I need to bite the bullet and like either donate it or get rid of it because it's like fraying, it's like old, the stuffing inside is like clumping, and it's just like really gross, and I just don't like it. And I feel like it's time to get rid of it. Especially because I also just want like a twin size set so that I can actually put the blanket on how it should look. I think I would be happier. And I also wanted that because I feel like I store a lot of energy in my bed. I don't know how you all feel. I think it's because I have planets in my 12th house. Like I do a lot of work in my sleep. I think in my sleep, because I have nightmares a lot, or I have like very weird dreams. So I know that like my subconscious, like I go through a lot of subconscious purging cycles. I have a lot of weird dreams. I get a lot of weird like feelings and premonitions in my sleep. And so I've noticed that's very important for me to like clean my bed, because like washing my sheets, because I don't know what happens, but sometimes this thing happens to me where when I have like bad dreams, my bed, like there's like a, like I'm not making this up, like there's like a blue spot on the bed, like it's like someone spilled ink there, and it's very faint, like it looks like my sweat, and it's like blue, and it's like a blue hue on my sheets. It washes out, you know, after a few washes, but it like stains my bed a little bit, and I don't know what it might be. It's not like maybe it's like my detergent or something, like maybe like detergent, because my detergent is blue, so maybe like it's stuck in my sheets or like my shirt, and then it like leaks out onto the bed or something like that. That's maybe a good explanation, but like I don't know, it was just really weird Because one day I had like a really bad nightmare, and then I woke up with like a blue stain on my bed. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, and I sleep like a corpse. I just don't move in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you all are. But yeah, that's just like my thing. And I was like, oh, you know, like washing my sheets is like a very spiritual thing for me, but like replacing them is like a rebirth moment, you know? But it said that it should be here by like the 14th, or like around the 14th through the 25th. I'm hoping it comes as soon as possible, because I just want this to be done, because I haven't done my laundry because I've been waiting on the sheets to come in so that I can just do it all in one go, you know, because I don't want to go to the mat too many times. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with that as well. And yeah, okay. Okay, I want to tell you some news, and then I want to gossip a little bit, and then we can go ahead and send you off to your reading. So on Thursday, I had my in-person interview for the bank, and I'm so excited. They said that they'll stay in touch and whatnot, and I feel like I did a really good job. I like interviews. It kind of took me off guard, because this is the first time that I have had an interview with like somebody who has clearly had a lot of experience with interviews. You know, like they were very, like, usually I can kind of control the conversation a little bit more, but like this person was very like sophisticated and very intelligent and very quick-witted. Like they never had to stop once to like think about what to say. And it really, like, I think it was a good sign for me, of course, because a lot of the interviews that I've been to, like, I kind of get the ick, but like this is the first time where I've like done an interview. I'm like, oh, you know, and I felt like, I don't know, they were really nice, and I really appreciated them, and they were super kind. So I'm like, oh, you know, even in the hypothetical that I don't get the job, like I feel like I've had like a very, very good experience like applying for this job and like the interview. So I'm like, even with that, like I feel so proud of myself for like even making it this far. And I feel like they've been just like very respectful, and it's just like, no. But of course, I do hope I get the job. My friend told me, like, everyone was like, oh my god, you so got it, like they're gonna contact you, and I'm like, yes, please. So everybody manifest for me that like it kind of like goes through, because, and that's why I wrote this on this big AF sheet of paper, because my resume, I tried to print it out at Staples, and it like separated for some reason, like, and like it just like has like a whole blank sheet. So I just have like a bunch of blank papers, and I was like, oh, just like trim off the excess and then just use this for now. Save the trees, I don't know. But yeah, that's that. I'm really excited. I hope I get the job. But anyways, so the gossip. So this is like social media gossip, so it's not like bad or anything. But like, do y'all know like that person that's like, oh, like, actually two things. One, my job called me last night at 11 o'clock at night asking me to work on Sunday. I did not pick up. I saw the text, and it's just like really irritating me. But Mars has been on top of my natal Saturn for this past week, and I have felt it, because this whole week I was so irritated, you guys. I don't know what was in the air. Mars on my natal Saturn, but you know, it was just really irritating me, and I was just in like a horrendous mood this week. And like a lot of the week I spent like rotting, being frustrated, and just like, ugh, like everybody was irritating me this week. I don't know what was going on. Like, ugh, it's just so irritating. And then like my skin was breaking out because of the cleanser, and it just made me even more mad. And like when bad stuff happens with my Saturn, it like strangles my financial situation. So like, oh my gosh. And then I'm just so glad Mars is finally at 28 degrees and it's not at 27, because that's where my Saturn is in Gemini. And the moon's gonna conjunct, I think I'm gonna ask my mom to buy me some clothes. Because my friend, she asked her parents to buy her a PS4 controller. So I'm like, what if I ask my mom to buy me some clothes? I don't know. But there's that. And then the gossip that I wanted to talk to you all about. So do y'all know that influencer that like did the demure thing, like, oh, like just very demure, very classy or whatever, you know, like that person, like Jules LeBron or something? Well, tell me why. I seen a video of them last night, and they were all like talking about, like, a lot of you probably seen it, where they were like, crying on camera to get like money for like dental insurance. And I was just like, and then they were like, oh, you know, like I don't want to get like a regular job because I don't know how much that will help. And it's like, that will help a lot, you know? I don't know what they mean, but it just like really confused me because like I know they make good money off making videos, you know, because it's like TikTok pays pretty good and it's very lucrative, you know, like when I post a video, like can we just be real? Like if I post a video and I get like what, like 80K views on it, it makes maybe like 50 to like $100 for me because my videos are very long. But it's just like imagine a 1 minute long video getting a million views. That's a lot of guac, you know, like that's a lot of money. That's at least like 200, 300, and that it only took a minute to make that video, you know? So I'm just like, I was just kind of irritated because I felt like the video was very like, oh, like I can't do anything about it. It's like, sis, like post videos, you know, like it's okay to ask for help. Like we all do that, but like, can you like put some more like oomph behind it? I don't know. Like that was just my opinion because it's like, obviously I understand like everyone, but like we're talking someone of 2 million followers, you know? It's like the stupidest door open for you and like you are like, I don't know. It just really bothered me because like there's like, it's not like they were doing anything, you know, like they were just asking for money, like panhandling. And I don't know, like I've just like, I just don't like that. And that was like another thing that I was like, man, like I'm kind of glad that I'm like getting like a better job, or I'm like trying to pursue like more for my career. Cause I was like, you know, like the last thing I ever want to do, like I've done it before. Let's be transparent. Let's not even lie. Like I have like solicited money before, but like it's not a good feeling, you know? Like no one wants to do that. Like I don't want to do that. I never want to do that ever again, you know? Which by the way, like if you were there around that time, like many things too. I don't know. It was just like really weird time of my life. And yeah, it just kind of like it kind of just like rubbed me the wrong way just a tad bit, because I just feel like people like you have so much like influence in like social like and it's just like, do you guys see what I mean? I don't mean it in like a bad way, like, oh, like you can't complain, like life, you know, I understand, you know, but I'm just saying like that's just what I have to say about it. But that was just something that kind of like and then I'm trying to think because I really don't want to miss anything. Yeah, I think that's really it for this week. That was just kind of like what was going on, and I'm so like excited to start school and like hopefully start this job as well. I think it will be a lot like maintaining, you know, like keeping up with the horoscopes and like Etsy and like, you know, but like I'm willing to do it. Like I love all these things. Like I'm excited to get this job. I'm excited to go to school. Like I'm excited to keep filming, you know. It's just like I love these things. And I feel like it's very like Saturn in my 5th house, you know, like doing what like I need to do. But yeah, um I don't know what else to talk about, so I'm just gonna let you go. I think that this intro came out a little bit more coherent, so I hope we can all appreciate that. I appreciate it. But I will see you at your horoscope. Bye, love you. Okay, starting out with Sagittarius rising. So hello, Sagittarius. If you're seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As per usual, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. So the highlight of this week is, of course, the solar eclipse in Leo, which will be on the 12th. And then 3 days later, we will also see a Mercury and Jupiter conjunction. So you're definitely going to feel it this week. And this is a nice energy because it is trining your ascendant. So, you know, a lot of Sag risings are going back to school, trying to get certified, or dealing with some sort of like a bigger system for whatever reason. And because Mercury is involved, it may be a lot of communication. So a lot of you may be trying to get your foot in the door or talking to people who are like higher up. So this could literally be that you are getting in touch with like a corporation or a church or whatnot. And because Mercury has ties with your 7th and your 10th house, it could be related to your career, but it could also be related to like interpersonal relationships. So like maybe there's like themes of like long distance going around. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, like my partner and I, we've been like really fine, but you know, now I'm moving overseas, or now I'm going to this school, and so now our relationship is like expanding. So, or it could be that through the aforementioned themes of travel and higher education and new beliefs and, excuse me, faith, it is this way that you are meeting new people and connecting with others. And I also want to say that Venus will be in an opposition with Neptune. Y'all are going to like Venus and Libra, trust, because it is literally in your 11th house. So I think that because Venus will be in an opposition with Neptune, this will probably, I want to argue and say like one of the hardest parts of this week, because you know, Venus is in your 11th house now, and Venus rules your 6th house. So there's like a lot of idealism with Neptune being involved when it comes to relationships, when it comes to social circles, when it comes to your dreams, you know? So it's like Sagittarius, it's with your 11th house being ruled by Libra, a lot of you have a lot of distinct dreams and visions about your wedding, about your relationships, about, you know, like your connection to other people and your friend groups. You know, like a lot of you have like distant like ideas in this sector of your life, and this is also where dreams get accomplished. So like through marriage, through relationships, and through other people. But with an opposition to Neptune, it kind of seems like there's like an over idealism here, and it could be like either too selfish or too selfless. So it's kind of important to stay away from that, especially because Neptune in your 5th house has been causing a lot of confusion and a lot of drama and a lot of, what's the way to say it, deception in your relationships, especially with the ruler Mars. You know, Neptune's in Aries, Mars has been in your 7th house. So this has just been like a part of your life where it has probably been very like confusing and very disorienting. And I think that with Venus opposing Neptune, there will be like an over idealization in some area of your life. And it's kind of important that you stay as grounded as you can. And Venus also has rulership over your 6th house. So this could be related to work, habits, and routine. So I think that if you want to stay grounded this week and avoid drama, like stick to your routine and don't stray too far away from your obligations and your responsibilities. And because the solar eclipse is happening in Leo as well in your 9th house, a lot of you are probably having like a lot of big picture ideas. So it may even be that a lot of you are like, no, like it'll get done. So maybe you're like abandoning your mundane lifestyle in order to like chase something bigger. And it's kind of important to find some balance in this sector of your life, you know, right? Venus and Libra could involve children for some of you. A lot of you may be having like distinct dreams or visions about your children or having children, or just something about like the dreams of your children in this part of your life. Like especially if you feel like your kid like wants to do something and like has like these visions, you're like, I don't know if that's really what I want you to do, or I don't know if that will be like fruitful. Like, is that going to bring the bag home? You know, something like that could kind of be going on, especially since Neptune has rulership over your 4th house. So a lot of what you've been taught and your spirituality, your beliefs, and your emotional fabric could be playing a role in this week. So it's important to reflect a little bit and think very deeply if you are going through something like that, especially because also on the 11th, Mars will move into Cancer. So you know, in the 8th house, if y'all remember that Mars retrograde that we had back in Cancer, like in the beginning of 2025 and the end of 2024, you know, definitely take care with your money, definitely take care of your resources, especially if you are trying to move, sign new leases, or if you are doing something about like homeowners insurance. And because Mars will square Neptune, like a lot of you may be having to get like your home repiped, a lot of, you know, like toilets getting fixed. I don't like saying that word, toilet. Or maybe the shower head's like busted, or like there's water damage, maybe there's like a huge storm. Mars in Cancer is so literal. But I think that on one hand, it will cause some ruckus and you may feel like people are being less generous with you. On the other hand, because Mars is kind of like rooted down because Saturn's in Aries, I think that there will be an opportunity for a lot of you all to save money, learn new skills, and maybe even find a way to make money by taking care of your own home. So it's like renovating it, you know, like instead of calling a contractor, finding out how to do something yourself or fixing it. Like Mars in Cancer really wants to be like the head of the household, if you know what I mean. So a lot of you could definitely be adopting this energy throughout the course of the next few weeks. And this is exaggerated too, because after the solar eclipse, the moon will move through Virgo. It will square Chiron and Uranus. So I think in the middle of the week there will be like random instances of like your career and work because of like health and obligations. So I would just take care in the middle of the week because there may be something going on of like how your relationships interact with your career, and this could be causing disruption in communication. And the nice thing is that Mercury will be in Leo by this point, so I think that because now Mercury is actually aspecting your ascendant, there will be like an easier vibe when it comes to communicating with people. The weekend, though, when the moon moves through Libra, there will be a lot going on. It will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. So definitely this weekend will be like all hands on deck with everything that I just mentioned. I think a lot of the things that I mentioned up until this point is very like passive or kind of like an incoming project or something that happens. And then at the end of the week when the moon's in Libra, like you are actually spending the money, actually talking to the people and making the moves and coming up with like innovative solutions in order to fix everything that's kind of going on. So you might feel like this week will kind of like pummel you down, but then at the end of it, it will be easier to kind of build yourself up and like fix everything and take care of things. And I think that a lot of you will generate income, fix something, and put a fire out. But definitely don't expect this week to go as smoothly as you want it to with all the stuff going on with Venus. I think that this week will be a little bit hectic at times, but I think that it will be for a good thing. And I think with that Mercury and Jupiter conjunction, there will be significant news coming by and people will be more communicative. Like you won't feel like you're in such like a waiting period no more. Yeah, we have the Princess of Swords, like the Page of Swords. I definitely think that this is like a hesitancy kind of thing. This week requires you to be very vocal. This week will require you to be communicative. And I think that there are people around you who want to say more, who want to communicate more, but maybe there's like a sense of like nervousness or like hesitancy or just like maybe even just flat out laziness. But I think the flow of information will be like the theme of this week. A lot of you could just be running into good news this week. I very much see this as like hearing back from something or hearing back from someone, like getting a call back. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, now moving on to Aries rising. So hello, Aries rising. If you're seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As per usual, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. And the highlight of this week is definitely the solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th. And it will be followed up 3 days later on the 15th with a Jupiter and Mercury conjunction. So the beginning of the week is just like, it will be right in your face. And it's in your 5th house. So I definitely see this as like news about children, but this could also be something about new creative hobbies. And with the conjunction of Jupiter, a lot of you could be like approaching like a more formal education. So it could be that a lot of you are trying to pursue like some kind of degree or certification in art. And Jupiter makes me think of like history, or it makes me think of like, wanting to learn about everything. So maybe like this could be related to like going to museums, working in a museum, working at like a national park, or traveling abroad for school. And, like I said, the school could be related to something creative. It could also be law because Jupiter is like very law coded. So especially with Venus and Libra as well. So a lot of you may be like rooting your values in law and relationships and connections. And this could be that a lot of you are also developing relationships with higher ups in some way, shape, or form. Maybe some of you could even be investing in like a mentor or providing mentorship, and this could also be something about like internships or like becoming an intern. Either way, your connection to something or someone is being purposed to further upon something that you are interested in, and it will be conducive to your career probably, because a lot of you Aries risings have been very, very concerned with your career. But it could be something else. It could just be for like a more personal thing. The Venus will be in an opposition of Neptune at the beginning of this week, and I was telling Sagittarius like that was very difficult, and I very much think that it will be difficult for you as well, because Venus is now in your 7th house. So it's like there's like good graces and a highlight on love and relationships and your values in them. But with the opposition to Neptune, there could be a little bit of confusion here, and because Neptune's in your 1st house, you may be liable to giving too much in relationships or giving too little. And there could be a sense of like dissolving of your identity, your values, and what you stand for. So I think this week it's really important to ground yourself by not getting too carried away with like satisfying others or having others satisfy you. But like I think a very delicate balance will need to be found in your interpersonal connections, because I think in the beginning of this week there will be like a lot of idealism and confusion here, especially with people whom you don't actually know that well, or people who may struggle. So it's like wanting to be a savior, wanting to help people, or wanting to lose yourself in a relationship. Like, just don't be like idealizing people who you don't even know, you know? And then on the 11th as well, your chart ruler Mars will be moving into Cancer. So move into your 4th house, and I definitely think that this is like a lot of work to be done with like your home. And you know, on the more practical, realistic side of things, this could be something about like water stuff. So like installing new pipes, installing new stuff, because Mars will eventually come into a square with Neptune. So, you know, if you notice that the shower is leaking or that the place needs to get repiped, it's like time to take care with that. But this could also be issues with a family member. This could be inciting a lot of conflict between you and family, or it could also be that like a lot of repressed emotions are coming up to the surface. So I think with the square to Neptune and Saturn, a lot of you may be feeling held back by your personal life in some way, or it might be like your living situation or your home or family will start to kind of frustrate you. And it's really important to ground yourself and process your emotions so that you can move forward before you start taking it out on people around you. And then, you know, around the same time, you know, after all of this kind of goes down, right before the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction, the moon will then move into Virgo, your 6th house. So I think that this will definitely be another busy week for you, especially the middle of it, because the moon will also come into square with Uranus and trine Chiron. I like the trine of Chiron particularly because I think that maybe a lot of you will be seeing some money come through this week, or that you will see like some sort of compensation come through, like a healing moment, especially if you are like waiting for like a payout of sorts, or if you have been waiting for somebody to like take care of you or provide for you or like give you something that you were owed. But I also think that this could be that a lot of you are like, no, like I'm gonna start charging more. So I think a lot of you could be upping rates, asking for more pay, or it could be receiving some sort of compensation. But the square to Uranus is pretty particular, because I think the middle of this week, a lot of you will see that you're having to make a surprise drive, or like things will kind of go on with your schedule. So I think that this week it's pretty important that you stay on track and you write things down and try to navigate this, because I feel like a 6th and 3rd house square is very like busy. It's very, things come up out of nowhere spontaneously, and responsibilities just kind of get thrown onto you. So keep an eye out for that. And then at the end of the week, the moon will be in Libra, and this is messy because the moon will conjunct Venus, it will trine Uranus, it will oppose Saturn and Neptune, and it will square Mars. So this is definitely the beginning of like, if you are dealing with like legal matters of a home, like a leasing situation or like a renter situation, especially if you yourself are a landlord, like this could be something where you're having to like renovate, contact contractors, or you could be feeling very restricted and confused by your interpersonal relationships. I definitely think that there will be a tendency to project this weekend, whether it be you or another person. So just be a little bit wary of that. But the conjunction of Venus definitely gives me the vibe that a lot of you could be having like a dinner party, having a partner come over, sleepovers, staying the night, or going on a date. And if that not be the case, this could be with like a woman, a close friend. But it may also be that you are investing money, and this could be conducive to Mars and Cancer. So a lot of you could just be like buying furniture, and maybe you're getting off like a one-on-one kind of thing. So maybe this is like you getting off like a designer or like an interior decorator or something to help you with like your living situation, because I know that with all the stuff that happened in Cancer season, a lot of you Aries risings have seen some dramatic changes in your home, and this weekend you might be seeing that you're kind of going back and forth at this sector of your life to redesign, or if it's not with your home, it's probably with a partner. Oh, let me reshuffle because I just threw out a bunch of cards. Oh yeah, for you, we have the 10 of Cups. I definitely think that a lot of you, because Mars is now squaring your ascendant, there's like an incentive now, you know, like you need to take care of something, you need to make things happen, like this is a time for action. And although like these are very tense and like friction-oriented aspects, I also think that it will be very good for you. And I think that a lot of you, the work that you do this week, you'll be coming out of it feeling very satisfied and very good about all that you've done. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Aries. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, now moving on to Taurus rising. So hello, Taurus rising. If you're seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As always, I've written down everything I want to talk about. And yeah, if you hear the AC, you do hear the AC. It's way too hot. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, Taurus, so the highlight of this week is definitely the solar eclipse in Leo, which will be happening on the 12th and in your 4th house. And this is featured at the same time as Venus opposing Neptune, which I think they will coincide with each other because Venus is now moving through your 6th house and she is opposing Neptune in your 12th house. So it definitely seems like there's a lot going on here when it comes to boundaries and when it comes to your sense of service to others. So I think that because Neptune also has ties with your 11th house, this could be related to your social circles, but also like your long-term goals and your future. So a lot of you could be feeling just very flustered when it comes to where you want to move forward. And then the solar eclipse happening in your 4th house, it may be that you're kind of being thrown into something when it comes to your home or your living situation or your family. And it may be like a new beginning, and it might be something that kind of just like thrusts you forward, you know, like we don't really have much control over eclipse energy. And this could be something about children as well, since that's Leo. And then 3 days later on the 15th, we're going to see a Mercury and Jupiter conjunction, which I think you will really like. It's happening in your 4th house as well. This is kind of getting money from something. So a lot of you could be getting money from like a payout, but it could also be from family. Since Mercury has rulership over your 2nd house and Jupiter has rulership over your 8th house, so the 2nd and 8th house ruler conjoining in the 4th house. But Mercury and Jupiter don't really have that great of a relationship, to be honest. So it may be that a lot of you will get something, but it will be in a way where it's like kind of like it kind of gives like TMI, you know. So for you, it may be a source of ethics when it comes to, okay, where did this money come from? How did it get to me? Why did I get it, you know? And a lot of you could also be investing in expanding your home, since Jupiter wants to expand. But I definitely think that the Venus opposing Neptune in the beginning of the week will kind of flavor the week a little bit difficult. So just take care and try to stick to routines and stay clear with your habits, because I think that this week will start out very frustrating. Like, can I just be real with you? Like, Venus, your chart ruler opposing Neptune in your 12th house, like the hidden house, it could reveal a lot of frustration and anger. And because Venus is in your 6th house, it's like Venus in your 6th is showing that you want beauty, you want fun, and you want to take care of things, and you want to take care of your body and do the things that you want. But Neptune in the 12th is showing that maybe you can't, because there's something going on with like 12th house things. So like loss, hospitals, healing, and doubling back. And then on the 11th as well, Mars is going to move into Cancer into your 3rd house, which I think that you'll have a better time with Mars in Cancer than some other signs. But Mars does rule your 7th house, and being in your 3rd house, it definitely suggests that there's a lot of work to do when it comes to relationships and communicating, and also your thought patterns. And obviously, Mars also has rulership over your 12th house, so be careful of self-sabotaging through your words and what you say. Be careful of doubling back on what you say. This could definitely be like being overly defensive over like conversations. Mercury in the 3rd house definitely made your mind overactive, but Mars in it will like make you aggressive, you know. So I think that this Mars transit will be kind of like the final boss, if you know what I'm saying. So I would also just take care when driving, especially if you're sleepy or like inebriated. Like, you shouldn't be doing those things in general, but I think that this will be like a good time to put action towards like therapy or somebody who you can consult and receive support and assistance from. I also want to say, for a lot of people, but especially, you know, like the first few signs with the way that Mars interacts in the chart, Mars is in your 3rd, so it kind of seems like a lot of you may go through something with your siblings and relatives, especially on your mom's side. But others of you may also be putting more action to your home, like renovation, getting your hands dirty. It could also be like cars and stuff. So maybe a lot of you are like trying to get with like a mechanic or something, or like literally, like I said, getting your hands dirty. And if you're this is like a good time to meditate on those things, because since Mars rules a house of isolation in your chart, maybe that through isolation and taking alone time, exercising will be a form of meditation and escape for you. And mind you, after the eclipse, we are going to see the moon move through Virgo, and it's going to square Uranus and trine Chiron. I like the trine of Chiron. I think that you'll have the best time with the moon in Virgo. I think a lot of you will see unexpected money come in, or I think a lot of you will unexpectedly spend money. And I also think that there will be healing to you, like having fun, especially if you have a child that's not doing so well. You might be taking care of them or nurturing them. I see just like in the middle of the week, it will be a tad bit easier to see what you need to be doing right now and what is a responsibility, but also something that you want to do. Like there's like a priority that is also a responsibility, and it will also be something that you find pleasure in doing, because this is the 5th house. The end of the week, the moon will move through Libra. It will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. So this weekend is a lot going on. And the moon's in your 6th house, so you won't really see this coming, you know, Taurus. So I just want to say that if you anticipate having to get anything done this week, the earlier the better, because I think that the end of this week, like the weekend, it will be a lot of business, a lot of work, a lot of clients, a surge in business. So I think that that's good news for your money situation. But with the opposition to Saturn and Neptune, I think that a lot of you, the beginning of the week will be reflected in the end of the week, you know, because Venus is opposing Neptune. So like, because Venus is your chart ruler, you're kind of seeing something in your subconscious and through your dreams that you're not entirely like, you can't see all the time. And then when the moon moves through it, it will be an opportunity for you to communicate and put action to word. Really good week to journal things and to like scrapbook things, take pictures. It will be like a sentimental air. But just this weekend, just be careful when it comes to like driving and like your schedule. There just might be a lot to do. Yeah, for you, we have the 2 of Pentacles. I really wish I could say this in a way where it's like, it's not just like, oh, you got a lot to do, you know, like boo. But I really do feel like a lot of you are balancing what you have in front of you and what you have going for you in your life. And then you're balancing like a lot of like mental things where you are taking time to isolate yourself and trying to find out who you are and develop a deeper, more meaningful relationship with yourself through your philosophies and your faith. So I think that this is like a very difficult time in your personal life and when you're alone. But when it comes to other aspects of your life, you might just kind of feel like everything's going smoothly. So definitely get plenty of rest this week, Taurus, and get in plenty of exercise and time to meditate, because I think that that will be very helpful for you, and it will help you be a lot more present when you have to take care of business. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. All right, now moving on to Gemini rising. So hello, Gemini. If you are seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As always, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. Excuse the AC, it is so hot. But anyways, Gemini, so the highlight of this week is the solar eclipse in Leo, which will be taking place on the 12th. I think this solar eclipse might kind of feel like, okay, and for you, because it's happening in your 3rd house, and it's kind of giving like an opportunity is presented to you, or you find something out, or you learn something, or there is just like a particular area of your life where there's just like opportunity to absorb information. It makes me, okay, so like this is what I'm thinking. Like I'm imagining a library, and like you walk by and a book just like really interests you, you know? It's just one of those things where it's like you don't have to pick up the book, you know, but it's shining to you, and there's like some kind of beckoning, you know, and it's like, are you gonna do it? And I feel like that's what this solar eclipse is gonna do for you, especially since it's opposing your 9th house. So there's like expansion, like stepping into a new reality, or like a whole new world. And then 3 days later, we're going to see Jupiter come into Mercury come into a conjunction with Jupiter, and this will be on the 15th, and you're gonna feel this. And I think that this is very much a aftermath kind of thing after the solar eclipse, since this is also in Leo. This is definitely about your relationships and how you're communicating in them. I noticed that a lot of Gemini risings are on like dating apps, or are reforming their relationship with their siblings. This could be for your in-laws. This could be applications, signing a lease. You know, like the third house is like, there's a lot going on in there, Gemini, which explains a lot of your personality. So I think that there is just like a lot of exploration possible this week, and kind of juggling things. Like you might kind of feel jumbled in the sense that there will be like, oh, I want to do this, and then it kind of fizzles out. Oh, I want to do this now, you know? So, and I think that Mercury-Jupiter conjunction will exaggerate that. I want to say also in the beginning of the week, literally right on the 10th, Venus will come into an opposition with Neptune. And this is a pretty difficult aspect. I think that for you, it will be not as terrible because it will be in your 11th house as well as your 5th house. Venus in the 5th is lit, y'all. I think that you should really take advantage of Venus in Libra. I think that it will bring you a lot of opportunities to express yourself, date, get into relationships, connect with people. I just think there's a lot of Gemini risings, and I've noticed that the common denominator is that a lot of you are looking for a twin. You know, like your twin, you're twin, you know, you just effortlessly connect with people, whether you like to or not. So I think that Venus opposing Neptune will cause a lot of deception and confusion in relationships. And it might not even be you, it might be like a friend or something that's going through something like that, and it might kind of be like this whole thing. And you know, Venus has rulership over your 12th house as well as your 5th house. So I would just say be wary of like self-sabotaging tendencies due to you know, things with your values and your self-confidence, because I think that this week there will be a time where there will be a lot of confusion when it comes to like what you deserve and what you feel like you deserve, and who is right for you and who is not right for you, especially if you're like dating someone who like you feel is out of your league or something like that. But obviously for others of you, it could also be something about like your sense of creativity and wanting to, you know, like expose a part of yourself a little bit. It's interesting because Venus rules your 12th house as well. So like in the 5th house, you might feel like something about yourself that you usually hide or don't show to everybody is kind of getting exposed. So you might kind of feel like seen in like an uncomfortable way. And then Mars will move into Cancer on the 11th. And I really want you to pay attention to this transit because it's moving through your 2nd house. And I think that this will, like, a lot of you could be burning a hole in your pocket throughout this time, especially if there's issues with like family and home when it comes to like money, you know, like I don't know what that might entail, but Mars is like conflict and movement, and Mars has rulership over your 11th house. So a lot of you may be trying to invest money or put effort towards your living situation for like a better future in some way, especially if you're trying to move or if you're trying to renovate your home, or if you are like planning on moving somebody in, or if you're looking for a roommate or something. But Mars and Cancer in the 2nd, it low-key makes me feel like it makes me think that a lot of you may be like selfish too. Not like in a bad way, you know, that's y'all's business. But what I'm trying to say here is like Cancer is very protective, the 2nd house is resources, and Mars is aggressive. So it makes me think like people asking you for stuff and you'd be like, girl, like this is mine, like what's your business, you know? So I definitely think that there will be a tendency to jump to conclusions, and your knee-jerks may be very reactive. I don't think it'll be as bad as Mars and Gemini. I think that Mars and Gemini was just like frustrating you all in some way, but I think that Mars and Cancer, it will be that you are actively feeling not hostile but overprotective over certain resources. And then in the middle of the week, we see the moon move through Virgo after the solar eclipse. It will square Uranus and trine Chiron. I definitely think that the moon in Virgo will bring up a lot of stuff about your living situation and your home, and a lot of you may be wanting to break free in some way. I just think that, you know, like moon in Virgo is like, it makes me think of service, and Uranus and Gemini, it makes me think of like hands and innovation. So a lot of you may be trying to get real creative at home in terms of like fixing something, making something more convenient and accessible for yourself. So I think that a lot of you are just trying to make your home life more convenient in some way, and this might coincide with Mars and Cancer, where you're just trying to like spend money and invest in some aspect of your personal life to make it more convenient and more accessible and efficient. And then at the end of the week, the moon will move through Libra. I think you will have the best time with this transit because she will come into a conjunction with Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. You know what's giving me? It's kind of giving me like, man, I want to do this. Nobody wants to do it with me. I don't really know if I have the money set aside for it, and I want to do it, you know? So I just think that the end of the week is, you know, Libra's relationship, so it may be like in connections in relationships that you're kind of going through this. But I think that a lot of you will have like a tiff with a partner or with like another person at the end of this week, and it will be revolving around like your ego and what you want to do and your sense of self-expression. And because it's opposing Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house, it may be related to like your hopes and your dreams, like what you want to accomplish moving forward. And you know, like, you may be feeling like a relationship or some kind of connection in your life is sort of holding you back. It doesn't just have to be romantic, it could absolutely be anything else. But I would just take care, and take care to not spend money too much this weekend. I think that there will definitely be a tendency to have too much fun, especially if you're around people who make you feel like you have to spend money. You know, like the people where you're like, man, like I don't want to go out and spend $200. The Four of Cups came out, and I definitely feel like this is you. Like, look at her. She's like, do I want that? Is that the vibe? You know? So that would be a cute thumbnail, don't you think? Anyways, so, you know, the Four of Cups is about like getting an offering, and it's like interesting because she has 3 cups, you know, oh, like I already have my friends, I already have celebration, I already have fun in my life, like do I need something else, you know? So this might be a week of like rumination and pondering, and you might kind of feel like you're just kind of floating by because you know what you want to do, but you aren't really sure if you should take it or make it happen. By the time you make a decision, you could have gone through both options and experimented. So Uranus in your first house, it is urging you to be a little bit more impulsive when it comes to your social circles, I would imagine. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Gemini. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you. Okay, now moving on to Cancer rising. So hello, Cancer. If you are seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. Excuse the AC, it is so hot. I've written down everything that I want to talk about, and the highlight of this week is the solar eclipse in Leo in your 12th house. And I gotta say, baseline is a lot of you can definitely expect things to be about money. I think that a lot of you probably already know that. And with the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction that will also happen on the 15th, Jupiter has rulership over your 6th house. That's pretty lit. I think that a lot of you all will get a lot of pay raises, or there will be opportunities to make more money, or it could just be that you are seeing responsibilities pile up and you're kind of like, I kind of want to get paid more for this, you know? Because Venus will oppose Neptune this week on the 10th, and also this weekend we're gonna see the moon come into a square or opposition with Saturn and Neptune. And I'm mentioning these because Saturn's in your 10th, and that has been like the ballpark of your chart. You know, like Saturn's very powerful in the 10th house, and I just think that a lot of you all will definitely be going through something this week when it comes to like your values and what you believe to be worth. And on the other side of things, Leo is about self-expression. It is about partying. It is about, you know, getting up on stage and pursuing what you love. And it is literally just like doing what you want to do no matter what. And so I think that with the 2nd house, you could be investing money into this, making money out of this, or it could be that you believe that this is intrinsic to your identity. Like, you know, this is something that you have to do. Like, I think that for a lot of Cancer risings, there's like a strong urge to pursue something and to make something happen in like the creative realm. And I think that this is like a time where you are getting into it. Yeah. And also on the 11th, Mars will also move into Cancer, so your 1st house. Have fun with this one, y'all. Mars rules, of course, your 10th house and your 5th house, which I really like, because even though Mars in Cancer is gonna make you moody, like times 10. However, I also think that it will give you the energy, the passion, and the drive to make a lot of the things happen and the things that you see with this solar eclipse. So I just want to say that because the solar eclipse isn't aspecting your ascendant as well, it may be difficult to kind of like make something happen. Like, a lot of you may kind of feel like you're putting an effort in some area of your life, but you're not really seeing any payout. Don't worry about the payout. The payout itself is doing what you believe in and what you love. The payout that you're looking for, that the green stuff, is gonna come later. Sorry, my nose is itchy. But I also think that, so the middle of the week, we're gonna see the moon move through Virgo. I love this. I love when the moon's in Virgo. And it will square Uranus and trine Chiron. I like the square to Uranus for you specifically. It's in your 12th house. And I think in the middle of the week, a lot of y'all just snap. Like, I think that a lot of you all will just be like, you know what, I need to change my life. Rearranging your bedroom, like car stuff, fixing things up, getting down. It's just, And I think that because Uranus is in the 12th house, like a lot of you may decide to isolate yourself very suddenly. You know, it makes me think that a lot of you may be trying to ease some sort of anxiety and like stress in you. So I would just take care. And then I want to double back because in the beginning of the week, like I said, Venus will oppose Neptune. And this is between your 4th and your 10th house. So it is forming a T-square with your ascendant, especially if you're like the first 10 degrees of Cancer, you're going to feel this. And Venus has rulership over your 11th and your 4th house. So I think that a lot of you may also be going through something when it comes to like your dreams and your visions with like your living situation and your home. But I also see this as like work-life balance. I would just say like try not to let your career and work take too much of your personal life and vice versa, which that is a delicate balance that a lot of you all have been navigating for like the past few months now. But I think that this aspect in Libra season will exaggerate that. Like it will be like on steroids, you know? So definitely take care. I also think that this could be causing like confusion when it comes to like heritage and like your goals, especially if you feel very committed to like mediating in the family or like compensating for like mistakes and stuff in the family or like taking care. So I think that some kind of judge or like a judgment will be made this week when it comes to like your emotional attachments, when it comes to relationships and kind of pursuing more independence as like a long-term goal. Or it could be that on the flip end of things, it may be that other aspects of your life are interfering with like your dreams and your visions when it comes to marriage and connection, and maybe even living with a partner or something like that. The end of the week, this will also be reiterated because the moon will move through Libra, your 4th house, which I want to say too, with Mars in your 1st house, this is like, I've been saying this for a lot of people, and I think that it applies to everyone, but because it's in your 1st house, a lot of you just may be taking initiative to also like, especially if you do anything like sales or if you do like real estate, this may be a time where a lot of you are noticing that like business is booming or there's just like a lot of things to solve and resolve and take care of. So I would just be wary. I think that this weekend when the moon's in Libra, great time to decorate. I think that because she will square Mars in Cancer, I think that a lot of you are like rearranging your personal life. I'm using your room as an example, you know, like rearranging it, but it could just be that there's another facet of your life that you're deciding to take care of, especially if you are literally moving, changing locations, or if you're thinking about moving and you're preparing, or there's something going on of like somebody that you live with, because you know Libra's relationships. So it could be that a lot of the things that I'm talking about have absolutely nothing to do with you. It's just that you're probably also getting roped into another person's life and having to assist them and take care of them, especially if it's like a woman. Like you may be like traveling and going somewhere to stay with another person, and like this is you kind of having to like rearrange yourself, and then the moon will oppose like Neptune and Saturn. So I would just take care, because a lot of you may be finding it frustrating too, especially if you're dealing with like legal matters of work, or if you're kind of like butting heads with a boss and you're trying to like keep the peace, and like it's just proving to be more and more difficult. So take that for what it is. I like the trine to Uranus though, because I think that this will be that like a lot of you have like a secret agenda, or a lot of you are just like thinking a lot more creatively, or it may be that through the connection and inspiration of others, you are suddenly coming up with new solutions. But yeah, Cancer, I think that if a lot of you are wanting to navigate this week and make the best of it, don't be afraid to just kind of shut things out and really take time and just be alone and sort out your thoughts. Because I think that your mind is like very overactive, and this week will be no exception to that notion. Yeah, for you, we have the Hanged Man. I definitely feel like this is very much conducive to what I was just saying, you know. The Hanged Man, I always think of it as like suspending yourself up in the air. So not being completely grounded, but also not being completely like in the air, you know, like you're attached to something, and when you're upside down you look at things from a different perspective. So I just think that with her eyes closed, this could be done in rest, with sleep, but this could also be done in other areas of your life where you're deciding to look at things from different POVs, and doing so with your own mind, especially of Uranus and Gemini. It's so giving like changing and rewiring your brain, and like literally like changing your point of view and how you look at stuff. So don't be afraid to do that, even if it clashes with your normal values and the people around you, because I think that this will make for like creativity and ways to like build upon your personality even more. And I feel like this will be a great way for you to think about like what you want moving forward, because you're like adding to yourself, if you know what I mean. But a lot of you may go through this week feeling like you're kind of just waiting on something and you don't know what that is. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. All right, now moving on to Leo rising. So hello, Leo. If you're seeing this will be a horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. Pardon the AC, I'm in the living room because it is so hot in my room. I brought the flowers over here though, just for you, because I was like, man, I feel like this is like kind of boring, and I was like, for the Leos, let's do it. Anyways, Leo, so big week for you. We have the solar eclipse in your sign, and it will be on the 12th, and it is in your first house. And I want to say that it seems like a lot of you are moving away from something, you know, like kind of like leaving a part of yourself behind, or it's not necessarily that you're leaving something behind, but I kind of see it as you're focusing more on your relationships, because this is opposing your 7th house. And so I think that because the South Node is involved here, it feels like a lot of you are focusing on yourself less and less, and letting yourself like fill in the cracks very organically. A lot of you may kind of feel like you're going through like a huge metamorphosis or change in your life, or revisiting something and kind of coming back to yourself in like a very like, I'm just gonna let myself be way. Like you're not working as hard to define yourself, or it could be that for a lot of you, you've been in that state, and this is you like putting effort towards that notion tenfold, you know? And then on the 15th, we're going to see a Mercury and Jupiter conjunction on your ascendant as well. Mercury has rulership over your 11th house as well as your 2nd house. And then we're also going to see Jupiter. And Jupiter rules your 5th house. So for a lot of you, this could be related to your kid, but I also think that this is something about your creativity. This is something about your hopes and your visions for your child, for yourself, for your happiness. And I think that because Mercury and Jupiter both love learning in your 1st house, it could definitely suggest that you're wanting to move forward, connect with new people, and expand upon your education, and maybe even travel. And it could be that you are garnering information for something in the future, because Mercury has rulership over your 11th house. Mercury is also associated with your 2nd house, so this could definitely be something about money as well. I noticed that when positive things happen with Mercury, a lot of y'all receive money, or like a grant, or like some sort of sum of cash. So a lot of you could be dealing with something like that as well, where like something good's coming through. And then in the beginning of the week, right on the 10th, we're gonna see Venus oppose Neptune. And I think that a lot of people, like the fire signs, will have an easier time with this than some of the cardinal signs. Venus is in your 3rd house and Neptune's in your 10th. So a lot of you could be traveling over water, but this could also be something about water issues. So I would definitely say that if you're having like infrastructure issues with like aquatic damage, or like maybe some of y'all just going to the aquarium, maybe you going to the beach, maybe you traveling overseas, maybe you're buying a pool and getting it built. But for a lot of others of you, this could also be like confusion when it comes to the mind, you right, the 3rd and 9th house. And then we also see a Mercury Jupiter conjunction later on in the week. So I think that the 3rd and 9th house could be a lot of things when it comes to like beauty and social media, especially since Venus has ties with your 10th house. A lot of you may be a little bit confused or wanting to go through like a rebrand process. And I feel like this really coincides with the solar eclipse in your 1st house. It may be that a lot of you are like disassociating, and maybe you're like taking a break from social media. I could totally see this as like maybe you're trying to step away from something, or distance yourself from a certain concept, way of living, or group of people. And maybe this is like a way for you to recenter yourself and to just kind of let yourself be, instead of constantly trying to change yourself, influence yourself, or force the pieces together. And then Mars will also move into Cancer on the 11th. And I really want you to take care with this transit. I think that Mars in Cancer in your 12th house is really annoying. I think that a lot of you will definitely be feeling really frustrated around this time, or it may be that like there's like a secret defensiveness coming out. And because Mars rules your 9th house, there may be like a certain sensitivity when it comes to like your faith, when it comes to traveling and your worldviews. Like this might be a topic that just like triggers you very easily. So it's like, if you're not wanting to get into like tiffs with people, I would just say like leave politics and like strong-winded opinions to like other times. This could also be like traveling to foreign land, or maybe even something about like property in foreign land. I'm thinking about how the 12th house is like places and lands that you've never been, and then Cancer is like home. Mars is about action. So maybe a select few of you could be dealing with like property stuff in the home and family sector. So maybe this is something that is going on. In the middle of the week, the moon will be in Virgo. It will square Uranus and trine Chiron. I like the trine to Chiron. I think that there will be opportunities to heal your self-worth and believe in yourself more to keep pushing forward in your career. I also think that the moon in Virgo, a lot of you could be just like budgeting. I think that the middle of the week, a lot of you are scripting, planning, like spending money. And Virgo is about like health, wellness, obligation. So it's like buying things that you need. So the middle of the week, a lot of you might just kind of be feeling like, oh my, I need more toothpaste, or I need more like pillows, I need this, I need that. So that combined with everything going on in the beginning of the week with all the bigger aspects, you may kind of just feel like this week is just like onslaught. So like the first half of it. And then at the end of the week, the moon will be in Libra. I think you will also have a really fun time with this transit because the moon loves being in the 3rd house, and it's not bad in Libra. And it will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. So although I think that there will be some frustrations when it comes to like long distance stuff and like doing what you want to do, like maybe you want to do something but you have to wait on it, or you're being like tied down by like a bigger system, especially if you are going back and forth of like when I think ninth house, I think of like court, I think of immigration systems, I think of law, I think of like institutions, churches. This might be something that is restricting you in the sense that maybe you're having to wait, or you're dealing with like delays, especially if you're like ordering stuff, if there's like things about like shipment in your life. But on the other end of it, I also think that with the conjunction to Venus and square to Mars, there will be a lot of good graces of like women coming through, talking to you, assisting you. I think that the end of the week is a great time to reach for like support systems and talking to the correct people. Good graces of relationships, especially if you're on like dating apps, or if you are just trying to look for people online, or like if you're looking for like business partnerships, especially with the trine to the North Node in your 7th house. Like relationships are very much something that you're probably consciously working towards, Leo. And I think that at the end of the week, there will be some good luck in that sector if that's something that you're concerned about. Or it could be that a lot of you are also sorting through some sort of a legal matter. But definitely don't be afraid of being alone. I think that Mars and Cancer in the 12th house, a lot of you just may go through things when it comes to like your home and your living situation in your family, or like a mother wound. But it's just really important that you don't fear being alone, and that you take initiative when it comes to nurturing yourself, so that way you don't fall into like the frustrating loopholes that this transit could bring. Yeah, for you, we got the star. I like that this is associated with Aquarius, your 7th house. So a lot of healing, a lot of goodness from relationships and connection. But this card is also about hope, it is about, it makes me think of like those Nutcracker movies when they see like the North Star and they like travel forward. I've never seen Nutcracker. I've only seen the Tom and Jerry version of it. But it's like a bright star in the night sky, it's like that one star, that one piece of hope you have, clinging onto something that you really know is meant for you, something that feels like it's speaking to you in the moment. So I think that there will be some sort of beautiful guidance this week, or there will be a sense of connection, or like a hope or a desire that will keep gas in the tank no matter what. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Leo. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you. Okay, now moving on to Virgo rising. So hello, Virgo. If you are seeing this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As always, I have written down everything that I want to talk about. I definitely think that this week for you will be very introspective, and you'll kind of be recalibrating yourself, because the highlight of the week is, of course, the solar eclipse in Leo that is going to be taking place in your 12th house on the 12th. I got confused there. And then 3 days later, on the 15th, we will see Mercury come into a conjunction with Jupiter. So there's a lot of 12th house stuff going on here. And I think that a lot of the themes that are happening here very much coincide with the themes that have happened over the past few weeks with Jupiter in your 12th house. I just think that the new moon solar eclipse is bringing a new beginning. But because the solar eclipse is, of course, entangled with the South Node, it definitely seems like you are either just moving away from something, or moving towards something that you wanted or is something that you previously had a very long time ago. Because when I think of the South Node, I think of like the past, you know, like a distant dream or an idea that you had. You know, it's like when you're like 13 years, like you're like 6 years old and you eat a cupcake at a bakery and you're like, oh my gosh, I so want to be a baker one day. And then that fleeting thought just like you never think of it ever again, you know? But then later on in life, you just like eat the same cupcake or something and you're like, you know. So I just think that a lot of you may have a moment like that where something very small, seemingly minuscule, and as it relates to your inner child and sense of self-expression, will spark a lot of creativity and incentivize you to push forward in some way. And then with the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction, definitely because Jupiter has ties with the fourth house. So it's like you've naturally grown up having a lot of experiences, being exposed to higher education, traveling, different cultures and ideas. So I just think that a lot of you will have an opportunity to expand upon the ideas that maybe you weren't able to necessarily act on, especially because Mars will also move into Cancer on the 11th, and this is in your 11th house. So it seems like, because I'm thinking about like 11th house is like your hopes and your dreams. So Mars moving there, Mars ruling your 8th house, Saturn's there restricting it. So especially if you felt restricted by a father figure, or if you felt restricted financially, or if you felt restricted in some other way, I just think that right now a lot of you are coming up with like, excuse me, like a detailed itinerary to make something happen for yourself. And if that not be the case, I think that if you're not one of those Virgos that already has like a solid script in place, this may also just be a time where you are thinking very, very deeply about your future and maybe even worrying about it. You know, like you're already worried about the future, but this week might kind of exaggerate that notion a little bit. So definitely take care. And this might manifest in like your social circle. So I think it's really important that a lot of you all don't play like comparison games, or you don't, you know, be around people who compare you, because your seventh house is, you know, ruled by Jupiter as well, and your seventh house is Pisces. So naturally you're very sensitive to the people around you, and you may absorb experiences that are not your own. And I feel like that also plays into the whole 12th house thing that has been going on. So it's like definitely pay attention to the company that you are around and take care of yourself when it comes to the energies that you are surrounding yourself with, especially because also in the beginning of the week, right on the 10th, Venus will be in an opposition with Neptune, and this is between your 8th and your 2nd house, which is very financial. I like this for you, but I just think that maybe there will be like an unrealistic ideal here when it comes to spending and finances. There could be something going on here when it comes to like relationships and boundaries and money. Venus also rules your 9th house, so this could be related to like travel and like bigger ideas, maybe trying to, you know, like get into something of like banking, or I don't know, maybe some of y'all are literally investing like water or something, I don't know. But I also just think that a 2nd and 8th house opposition of Venus and Neptune could be something about relationships and self-worth when it comes to connection, because Neptune in Aries in the 8th, it shows that there's like a lack of self, or there's like a dissolving of the self in connection where you're receiving support. Whereas Venus in the 2nd house in Libra, you know, like Libra's relationship, 2nd house is values and money, and Venus is all about love and values as well. So it's kind of like a lot of you are finding a delicate balance here when it comes to how much you give to others versus how much they give to you, and how that plays into your identity and your experiences, and how much you believe yourself to be capable of taking things on yourself. And, you know, around this time as well, in the middle of the week after the solar eclipse, we will also see the moon move through your 1st house. And I really like this for you. I think that with the moon coming into square of Uranus, trine Chiron, I think that there will be random opportunities in the middle of the week for you to make something happen for yourself, because the Mars is in a moon ruled sign. So I kind of just see this as like a lot of you will be able to suddenly take a step forward towards something that you really want, or like a vision, you know, like putting that first foot down. So I just think that this week there will be a lot of opportunities to plant the seed in something. And it's very important that you're very intentional about this, and that you surround yourself with people that support you, especially because also at the end of the week, the moon will move through Libra. It will conjunct Venus, it will trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. So there is a lot going on at the end of the week when it comes to your financial situation. I think that a lot of you could be running into money, especially if you've invested it in like real estate, property, or maybe are even dealing with like a church or like education system, or if you filed for something to get money back. I think that at the end of this week, maybe you're kind of get into a little bit of a tiff about it, especially if it involves like children or childcare. But I think that there will definitely be some kind of like a breakthrough coming through or some sort of reprieve. But with that square to Mars, I just think that this is kind of like about your social circles as well, and like your ideas and like how you want to invest your money moving forward. So I kind of see this week as like you get a certain amount of money, but now you're kind of like, like the next steps moving forward, how I work with this money is very important. And if it's not about money, it will probably be about something else. I also see that this could also be related to like long distance stuff and like maybe property stuff, because Venus has ties with the 9th house. Yeah, for you, we have the Three of Cups. I definitely feel like even though it's upright, it makes me think of the reverse of this card, where sometimes it can be like too people pleasing, you know, and it's like going out even when you don't want to. But I feel like there's definitely a sense of celebration this week, especially with like a new moon solar eclipse in Leo. Even though it's in your 12th house, this very much gives way for like celebration, and it kind of makes me think that like a lot of you could have, it makes me think of like the person who has like a party thrown in their name and they're like, I don't even really care about the accomplishments, y'all. Like, this isn't really what I wanted to do. So I just think that this could also be about getting together with people, your social life. But I also think with all the relationship stuff, maybe like the Three of Cups could be like there's too many people involved, if you know what I mean. So I think that this is one of those weeks where you really want to be assertive and you want to be bold and you want to be loud and proud about what you want. Otherwise, drama could ensue. But I kind of see this as like a positive card. I think like this is your summer, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, that's all I have for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, now we have Libra rising. So hello, Libra. If you are seeing this, this is to be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As per usual, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. And obviously the highlight of this week is the solar eclipse in Leo, and this will be on the 12th in your 11th house. And then 3 days later on the 15th, we will see Mercury come into conjunction with Jupiter. I definitely think that the 11th house here, a lot of you could be getting like a wish fulfillment. You know, this is the 11th house we're talking about, and Jupiter has ties with your 6th house and your 3rd house, so this could be related to like your daily routines and habits. A lot of you could be getting like a job, or a lot of you could be having like a career breakthrough, especially if it's related to like social media, or if you've just been throwing like applications into the dark, you know, like I don't even know if I'm gonna get this, but I'm gonna just put the application out there. And if that not be the case, I think that this is a great time to kind of just shoot your shot with like different places that you want to work and collaborate with, whether it just be like a person or whether it be like a bigger system. And Jupiter is also about higher education. So a lot of you, I know, have been very concerned of your career. And I think that this could be a moment where you all are working towards to be certified in some way, or like to get some sort of like application through and like do more. Because I'm like thinking about how like the 3rd and 6th house, like those are like smaller houses, you know, like they are more about like the nitty gritty and the day to day. So it makes me think that a lot of you are like taking certain classes or like doing something on the side and just trying to make something happen for yourself, and you know, to have like an edge when it comes to getting something that you want. And if this is not related to your career, which I would imagine for a lot of you it is, it could also be related to something about your social circles and your friends and the people whom you hang around. I noticed that when there's a lot of 11th house stuff going on, Libra rising just have like random people fall into their lives. You know, it's literally like you meet someone by like the grace of God, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of you could definitely experience that as well, where new people kind of come and go in your life, and there may be great opportunities to travel, go abroad, or like step into a completely new experience. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you, especially if you're doing anything like a graduate program or like a master's or PhD, this may be like getting into a school that's very far away and, you know, traveling for it. But aside from that, I also think that this could just be that like overseas stuff. Maybe you're working in foreign lands, or you're getting opportunities in foreign lands, which may require you to obviously move. But I think what I want to mention to you is that in the beginning of the week, on the 10th, we will see Venus come into an opposition with Neptune. Libra, I need you to pay attention to this. Because I haven't met a single Libra rising that hasn't been going through some kind of chaos in their relationships, whether it be with your family, whether it be with your partner, whether it be with your friends, your coworker, you know, like. And Mars is going to also move into Cancer on the 11th through your 10th house. And then this weekend, when the moon's in Libra, it will square Mars. So I just think that throughout the course of this week, there could be a lot of tips with bosses, with parents who have authority in your life, people you live with, landlords, just all of that stuff. So I would just say, like, take care in your relationships, especially if there's like confusion there. I think that the Venus opposed Neptune, it could be that you or a partner or somebody else is just being very like difficult, very confusing about their intentions, people being dishonest, deceptive, alarmingly temperamental and aggressive. You know, like that's what Neptune and Aries makes me think of. Or people who are being very domineering when it comes to their beliefs and emotions and the way that they see things. So I just think that with Venus opposing it, it may be that a lot of you are, because Venus also has ties with your 8th house, I also think that this is incentivizing a deep transformation in your life when it comes to your values and what it is that you deserve. So especially if you're like in a toxic relationship, or if you are around people whom you're starting to feel like are not suitable for you. And I feel like this very much coincides with the solar eclipse in Leo, because Leo is also about dating and the 11th house is about like our hopes and our dreams. So it's like a lot of you may be feeling like you are no longer finding your desires, or a lot of you may be finding that you're having to rewrite the dreams and the hopes that you have for your love life, you know, and your dating life, you know. So it's like maybe you're putting down the back burner to pursue something, or maybe this is an area of your life where you're wanting to pay attention to it more, and it's forcing you to be a bit more detailed and more thoughtful, because, you know, Saturn's restricting your relationships at the moment. And then in the middle of the week, the moon will move through Virgo. It will square Uranus and trine Chiron. I really like the trine to Chiron. The square to Uranus is interesting. I think a lot of you may, once again, have opportunities to move to foreign lands. But this may also be that you all are having to come up with innovative new solutions when it comes to your alone time. I think that this is like a very great time for a lot of you to be left to your devices. I feel like the middle of the week, a lot of you will just kind of like voluntarily take time away from everything to sort through some things when it comes to like work that needs to be done, and like habits and hobbies and stuff that you want to maintain, especially if there is like a certain routine that you've been wanting to adhere to again. And then at the end of the week, the moon will move through Libra. And I definitely think at the end of the week, you will be feeling this more. I also want to say when the moon's in Libra or in Virgo, take care to not be too critical of yourself. But when the moon moves through Libra, it will conjunct Venus, it will trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars, like I said. But the conjunction of Venus in opposition to Saturn and Neptune is pretty interesting. I like the conjunction of Venus because a lot of you may definitely receive some sort of payout or a grant, or like a sum of money from like another source. It could be from like a woman, it could be from like a partner or something. But I think that a lot of you will see that there will be a lot of movement of your resources and like another person's resources, and it may like benefit you, or it may just kind of like sort things out, you know. Like, and Libra is of course about like law, it is about fairness and contracts. So I think that a lot of you, especially if it's related to like insurance or like taxes or something, this could be getting sorted out. Especially if you're also tangled up in like legal matters, this could be getting sorted out as well. But definitely with that opposition of Saturn and Neptune, girl, like I just think that this might be a week where a lot of you are having to revise your relationships, especially with your family, since Saturn has ties with your 4th house. So I think that this may be a time where, especially if you are like co-signed with somebody, or if you like live with your family, or if you are like legally binded to them in some way, this might be a week where you're noticing the repercussions of that, or you're noticing like this is requiring you to like use your brain and like really think through things. And then with the trine of Uranus when the moon's in Libra, a lot of you may come up with like innovative new solutions to either buy yourself more time or help another person. For you, we have the Magician. I definitely feel like this week has a lot of potential because a lot of things are in a sextile with your ascendant, because we have planets moving through your 11th house, and that's where the solar eclipse is. And then the moon will be in Libra at the end of the week, and your chart ruler is aspecting Neptune, which is on one hand very confusing and, you know, like floaty, but on the other hand, I also think that that is opportunity to set some powerful intentions to manifest the right people and right situations so that you can make some great things happen for yourself. Because I think that a lot of you are like getting around to focusing on yourself a little bit more, and whatever that means to you, I think that there is a lot of opportunity to manifest the right occurrences that will allow you to do just that. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Libra. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. All right, now we have Scorpio rising. So hello, Scorpio. If you're seeing this, this would be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. And of course, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. The highlight of this week is obviously the solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th on your 10th house. Okay, Scorpio, this isn't about me, but I will say I just had the South Node finish up in my 10th house. And with it being in Leo for you, I think that a lot of you are... This is like the beginning of you moving away in your career in some way. And then with the North Node in your 4th house, it seems like a lot of you are focusing more on your personal life in some way. And I still stand by the fact that I think you will have one of the best Jupiter transits. And 3 days after this, we will see Mercury come into conjunction with Jupiter. So on the 15th. And I think that a lot of you are diversifying your career in some way, or you all are breaking free, especially when it comes to like wanting to perform more. I've noticed a lot of Scorpio placements are wanting to be more creative or wanting to be more themselves out there, you know? And I feel like a lot of you are kind of stepping into this experience where you are deciding to be more yourself, even if it means being a little bit like prideful and a little bit more like, you know, embracing your ego. And I feel like this really plays into Venus in Libra in your 12th house, and she will oppose Neptune this week right on the 10th. So I feel like these two coincide and play together, because I feel like a lot of you are probably stepping away or like learning to define your own column when it comes to relationships. And I think that this very much plays into your reputation, your career, and what it is that you want to pursue. Like a lot of you are like setting some long-term goals here. And the South Node kind of forces you to stop focusing on something as much. So I think that by focusing less on your career, or, you know, like doing less on it, will ironically expand it as well. Does that make sense? So it's like the less effort you give in, the more you step away from it, the more it will make room for creativity and doing things, you know, like feeding energy to the things that you care about. So that is the best way to say it. And I think that it will bring you money because Mercury and Jupiter both have ties with your 2nd and your 8th house. Or this could just be about like your values, you know, like putting your money where your mouth is and being like, oh, you know, like that's such like an aggressive thing to say, like money where your mouth is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean it like that. But, you know, I just think that this is a time where a lot of you are like spending money and like investing in things that you feel are worth it, things that make you happy. So I also think that a lot of you could like be walking away from trends in career and whatnot. So it might be that a lot of you are kind of just like finding a delicate balance there when it comes to like what you want to do, what you want to do, what not everyone else is doing. So I also want to say that this plays with Mars in Cancer. You know, Mars is your traditional ruler. It will be moving into your 9th house. I just think that like this week, a lot of you will see like new beginnings in your career as you like leave certain things behind. It's like you've omitted something and this is called like gaining way for like something else. Does that make sense? And then when Mars is in Cancer starting on the 11th, it will be through your 9th house. So a lot of you could be moving long distances, or a lot of you could be starting like a commute or working for like a bigger system, since Mars does also have ties with your 6th house. So there could be something here about like the service or like the improvement of something bigger, especially if you do own property, a business, or if there is something revolving around like churches or like education systems. So that could definitely be relevant for some of you all. Cancer is I would imagine a lot of you could be going back and forth of like a contractor, or maybe some of you are even having to like double back and be of service to your family in some way, especially like on your mother's side of the family, because like Mars rules service in your chart. And also in the middle of the week, the moon will be moving through Virgo, and so it'll be moving through your 11th house, and it will square Uranus and Gemini and trine Chiron. And I don't know, Scorpio. I think that this is like a lot of hard work, because this is some like a lot of either hard aspects to your ascendant, or it is only like if you're willing to take it. So I think that a lot of you are in the midst of like really pushing yourselves and really trying to make things happen as responsibilities and like personal burdens are weighing in on you. You know, like I think the career sector of your life will just get naturally lit up as you focus on yourself more. You know, like Pluto is moving through your 4th house. Like that is like power, you know? And I think that a lot of you will like gain a lot of power by focusing on yourself and like expressing your weird eccentric side, you know? All Scorpios have it, okay? None of us want to admit it, but it's true. But I really like the moon in Virgo squaring Uranus, because it kind of gives like a sum of money coming through, like a group of people wanting to help you, investors, people suddenly realizing you know, like it's just like there's some sort of opportunity to network, put yourself out there more, or be of service to others. Like moon in Virgo just kind of gives like something about like your habits, something about your routines, something about your philosophies when it comes to health and wellness. Something about that will be very important this week, and it may influence or rub off on others. And then at the end of the week, the moon will move through Libra. It will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and also square Mars. I Personally, I feel like the trine to Uranus really sticks out to me, and then the opposition to Saturn and Neptune's pretty interesting, because I think that a lot of you will be finding balance in your routine by being alone or by being in the right company. I think that, you know, Scorpio, you're already very selective of who you are around, and I think that the end of this week will very much exaggerate that, especially if you are in like close quarters with like a woman or somebody who shares the same values as you. So Venus also has ties with like your 7th house as well. So it's like a lot of relationship stuff going on here. And at the end of the week, it could be related to like distance. It could be related to contracts, especially if you are like married. So I would imagine that a lot of you may be going through something about like papers and stuff. Maybe some of y'all filing for divorce. Maybe some of y'all are getting married, you know. But aside from that, you know, whether that could be neither here nor there. But for others of you, I just think that this could also be about like just being around the right people, because like I'm thinking about how Saturn in the 6th is like forcing a lot of you to be more conscious about your habits and routines. But then Venus in Libra in the 12th house, it's kind of like where your blind side's coming out, and how is it that the people that you spend time around affect you at an energetical level, and how does that interfere with the fact that you're trying to get your routine together? Do you see what I mean? The square to Mars, it just kind of seems like it adds distance, it adds faith, it adds belief. So, you know, it's like your beliefs could be clashing with another person, which could be interrupting your routine. A lot of you may also be having to like take care of water, and water could be the reason why like your daily life is being interrupted. So it could be like a pipe bust, the office floods, and you gotta go somewhere else, you know. Yeah, someone else got this card. We have the Hanged Man. I definitely think that this week, it will just kind of feel like things are in your face. And it may be a time where you're having to suspend yourself upside down and look at things from a different perspective. You might literally feel like your world is being turned upside down. Like, I want to bet some, not money, but I'll bet you a quarter that a lot of you have probably the life that you're living right now, and the way that you're looking at your life is completely different than the worldviews you had just like even a few years ago, with Jupiter having moved through your 8th and 9th house. And now that the solar eclipses in your 10th and 4th house are starting, I think that a lot of you are like changing up things when it comes to your long-term goals and visions and dreams, you know, especially with the South Node having just moved through your 11th house. So definitely embrace the Scorpio. This is a very transitional stage for you, and like it is a very positive one that will bring you some pretty nice things. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you. All right, now moving on to Capricorn rising. So hello, Capricorn. If you're seeing this, this will be a horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As per usual, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. And of course, the highlight of the week is the solar eclipse in Leo, which will be in your 12th house, or excuse me, it will be on the 12th in your 8th house. And I definitely think that this is like a difficult kind of thing, or like a difficult lunation to see in your 8th house. And combined with the south node, it seems like you're establishing some sort of like independence in your life, or you are separating yourself from something. But I do want to say that, you know, like the 8th house, it's about, you know, we all know the keywords: death, transformation, transition, other people's resources. And with Leo being the sign of romance, of creativity, self-expression, the ego, it may be that these things are going through a big change in your life, and it is inciting some sort of like a new beginning. And the south node is like moving away from things. So it could be that through moving away from something, you are becoming more of yourself. And you know, the 8th house is on top of the 7th house. So this may be manifesting in how you are showing up in your interpersonal relationships, especially if you are married, especially if you are with a partner, or if you are just like in close proximity to another person. This could even be related to your family because of Saturn in your 4th house, and the moon will be in a trine with Saturn. So there could definitely be something going on here in the beginning of the week when it comes to your sense of independence and your resources when it comes to your family, but also your partnerships, especially if you have signed something with a partner or if you live with a partner. But on the other end, we also see Mercury and Jupiter coming into a conjunction on the 15th, so 3 days after the solar eclipse. And excuse me, Mercury has rulership over your 9th and 6th house, and Jupiter has ties with your 12th house. So together in your 8th house, it definitely seems like a lot of you are changing up your beliefs and your faith. This is like a lot of information, you know? So I really do see this as a lot of you will be getting intuitive hits, having interesting dreams, subconscious affairs. So it's like a lot of you could be astral projecting, having lucid dreams. But this could also just be a time where your body is releasing a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings at one time. So the solar eclipse might have like a bit of a moody edge to it, and it could be having y'all feeling a little bit dramatic. Because Leo's children in the 8th house is also about the reproductive organs, this could also be something about, you know, like having children or wanting to reinstate, or like not reinstate, but instate, is that the word? You know, like establish independence for your kids, or perhaps this could be something about like the financial stuff when it comes to children as well. And then in the beginning of the week, we will see Venus oppose Neptune on the 10th. So this is between your 4th and your 10th house. Definitely a lot of stuff here about work-life balance. Venus has ties with your 5th house as well as your 10th house. So I could say, like, especially if it is something about like exposure, I just think that Venus moving through a 10th is really nice, because I think that a lot of Capricorn risings have been going through a lot. And I think that this solar eclipse will kind of heighten that a little bit. But Venus moving through the 10th definitely suggests that people are wanting to be nice or wanting to be helpful to you. It kind of seems like there is like bosses being nice to you. This could be like higher powers wanting to support you and, you know, be there for you, communities, a lot of like groups of people. Especially with that Mercury Jupiter conjunction in your 8th house, like a lot of you may be receiving like an unexpected source of income or like money opportunity from like a different source. Maybe it is for like extra labor or for a little bit of like extra work. Like, hey, like you scratch my back, I'll take this off your hands, you know? And also because Mars is going to move into Cancer on the 11th, there will definitely be a lot of stuff going on in relationships, especially when it comes to like property stuff. Like this is like not a very good time, you know, like throughout the course of August to be signing leases with a partner or like conjoining things. Like I think that this is genuinely a time where a lot of you want to make sure that you have your own assets and resources in check. Like make sure like nobody else has access to these things. I think that this could be time where if you do decide to make it happen, it will be very like finicky, especially if you're going back and forth with people about like property or like real estate or like capital. This could be something about that because Mars does have ties with your 4th house. This could also be trying to get into contact with like a contractor or like real estate agent. So this could be very literal, especially if this is something that you do for like work or a career. And in the middle of the week, the moon will be moving through Virgo. It will square Uranus and trine Chiron. So I think that if you are dealing with like home renovations and real estate stuff, the middle of the week could entail like a lot of property management and like services and looking for the right people who can help you. But this may also be that a lot of you are going through a lot of shifts and changes when it comes to your routines and like work status and like, you know, like your schedule. I want to say schedule just to be annoying, but this could also be clashing with your partnerships and your relationships. Like, oh, like I don't have time for my partner and like this is not great, you know, like, or I feel like my partner doesn't have time for me, you know. So I just think that this may be the beginning of a lot of delicate timing because a lot of you are clearly changing up your life from like an internal point of view. Like a lot of you are like internally changing, and this is starting to manifest in your outside world where you're wanting to rearrange the way that you move about your life, and this may be affecting your relationships, especially if it's with your family or people who you live with, like I keep saying. The end of the week. The end of the week, the moon will be moving through Libra. It will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. The number one thing that I have to say for you is don't let your emotional attachments prevent you from doing the things that you want to do. And you know, like Moon and Libra, it kind of seems like a lot of you will be having to mediate some sort of conflict this week, especially with like a higher power, so like a parent or like an in-law or just like an older person or like a boss or something. Like a lot of you may be like sent in to like negotiate or like help something along. It's not that you yourself are like under attack because the moon has ties with your seventh house. So it may just be that a lot of you are having to stand up for someone, defend somebody, or defend yourself, like help somebody defend themselves, especially if you do work in like law or like paralegal studies. But for others of you, this could definitely just be like stuff going on and people dragging you into their mess. So I would just say like this week, utilize the word no. Be very gentle and be very careful, because I think that that opposition to Saturn and Neptune, but then also conjunction to Venus, like there's like good graces, like people are praising you and people are clearly noticing you for something about like your aesthetics. But it may also be that this is causing people to want to drag you in to mediate some sort of like a conflict, or like a partner may be forcing you, or like another person may be forcing you to make a decision. Yeah, Six of Pentacles. I really like that she's holding scales. It definitely seems like a lot of you with like the second and eighth house stuff, you are financially mediating things. So it's like paying things off, gaining money, moving things onwards to another person, especially if like money is having to go through you before another person. So it's like someone's giving you money to give to another person. A lot of you could be dealing with something like that. But Six of Pentacles is about like give and take and balance. So I think that a lot of you will be reestablishing balance. And I feel like this goes back to what I was saying about like, oh, like finding balance between you and other people and recalibrating it in a way that is more resonant to how you feel deep down. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated. And if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you. All right, now moving on to Aquarius rising. So hello, Aquarius. If you're seeing this, this will be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. As per usual, I've written down everything that I want to talk about. So the highlight of this week is obviously the solar eclipse in Leo, which is happening in your seventh house. So definitely everything about relationships, connection, other people, children, legal matters, all of this stuff is kind of coming up. Especially if you are getting married or getting divorced, a lot of you may be like navigating like this delicate balance in your life. Excuse me. And I think that that's kind of like the best way to sum it up. This is just like a lot of stuff going on with other people. I think that the aspects surrounding the solar eclipse is what's going to kind of flavor it for you, because like this is like the farthest house from you. So there's really not much to say here. I just think that other people will have a tendency to be more romantic, more proud, more like shining light on you, like wanting to give you attention and affection. Or this may be an area of your life where you're particularly invested. And because we also see Saturn, your traditional ruler, in your third house, this could be related to like communication, ideas, and talking to people. And this could even not be related to like is other people, period. So a lot of you could be like forming consultations, wanting to get like a personal trainer or something like that. I'm also thinking about how your ninth house is Libra, and Venus just entered there. And so I definitely think that this could be a time where a lot of you are perhaps seeking out like a mentor or somebody who can like guide you through something, or somebody who is more knowledgeable than you. But I also think that Venus in the ninth house, it's so giving like going to the courtyard or like going to like the courtroom and like settling something, whether it be like any of the aforementioned things or something else. But Venus will also be in an opposition with Neptune in the beginning of the week, and this is between your third and your ninth house. So I definitely think that there could definitely be something about travel, something about communication. This is all about the mind, especially because on the 15th, Mercury and Jupiter will come into a conjunction. So a lot of information at one time. So I think that a lot of you could just be having a lot of conversations, talking, just like your mind will be very, very overactive. And especially because this is all in a trine with Saturn in your third, it may be that a lot of you are taking conscious effort to listen to a partner's needs, listen to the concerns of another person, or listen to the person who's trying to teach you something, taking classes, reading books, watching videos. A lot of you are just trying to be in the know in some way, and a lot of you are taking language a lot more seriously. And with the solar eclipse happening in your seventh, it is related to what is fair and what you believe to be balanced. So you're using your mind and your language and your knowledge to balance, you know? And then in the beginning of the week as well, on the 11th, Mars will move into Cancer. So Mars has a rulership over your third house and Saturn's there, and Mars is in your sixth house, which definitely suggests that there is hard work ahead for you. And I've been saying this for a lot of people, mostly the first few signs, but also you probably as well, and Pisces. Mars is moving to the sixth house of responsibilities and obligations, and Cancer is about mothers, it is about home, it is about family, it is about the past. So a lot of you may be having to tend to something from the past, excuse me, or a lot of you could be also in the midst of home renovations, fixing your home. You could be hiring people, or maybe it's even that you are trying to learn how to do something yourself. And Mars also has ties with your 10th house, so especially if you are in something of like real estate, or if you are a contractor or work in like home renovations, or if this is like a part of like the market that you work in. But this could also just be conflict in the workplace because of like, you know, like maybe like a woman gets pregnant, or like maybe you're having a kid and this is like something about like maternity leave, you know. But I also think that this could just be that a lot of you are seeing a lot of hard work ahead when it comes to like a home situation, because you're obviously trying to organize something, you're trying to move forward and expand on something here. And because Saturn is in a Mars rule sign, this is about like structure and service. So maybe a lot of you are having to be of service to an older family member, or maybe this could even be about like your siblings and immediate relatives. I also want to say that in the middle of the week, the moon will be moving through Virgo as well, and this is your 8th house. So I definitely see this as maybe you are trying to, I keep saying definitely. This could be something about like money, and I would imagine that this is something about having to manage your payments, manage your resources, other people's resources, so that you can take care with the aforementioned themes. Because Moon in Virgo, it will come into a square with Uranus and Gemini, and it will also trine Chiron, but it will also sextile Mars. So it kind of just seems like it gives the vibe of, okay, I can hire this person and then I'll do this thing myself so that I can save money there. And then like there's an unexpected vision here when it comes to learning something. It may be that a lot of you will have a lot of breakthroughs with that square to Uranus when it comes to information and what you learn. And I just think that this might be a week where you have like a breakthrough because you're trying to save cash. Like that really just sounds like what it is. And Moon in Virgo is also very like deeply transformative for you because it's in your 8th house. So I think that because this is like a Mercurial and Mercury is in your 7th house, it may be that like a partner or somebody who you are intimately connected with is assisting you, teaching you something, and this may be what like the transformation is, you know. Like the 8th house is where we would receive support from other people, so it could just be that you have like a person in your life that is teaching you how to do something like very one-on-one. And then at the end of the week, the moon will be moving through Libra. It will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. I think that this weekend will be a lot But for you, it will be more of like it just kind of happens because it's in your ninth house trining you. So I think that this could be a lot of your just traveling, long distance partnerships. Libra is about like beauty. So it may be that you're going somewhere, like taking pictures, having a girls' trip or boys' trip, whichever one. With the opposition to Saturn and Neptune too, this could be frustration when it comes to language and knowledge. So a lot of you may have some fleeting moments this weekend where you feel like you're intellectually inadequate, and this may be pushing you to pursue even more knowledge. And with the square to Mars, it could be revolving around service and having to weave something into your routine and take classes. But I love that conjunction to Venus. Venus also has ties with your fourth house. So this may be a lot of you receiving wisdom, teachings, or some kind of benefit from a woman in your family, especially like a in-law or like a woman who lives far away, or it could be that woman who lives far away is coming to visit you. Yeah, we have the Eight of Swords for you. I feel like a lot of you, I feel like it kind of manifested throughout the course of this like horoscope. I feel like a lot of you have like your hands tied right now, like in a mental level, and it may be that your brain is just like on overdrive right now. And it just seems like it's very important for a lot of you to take your time, especially because Saturn rules your 12th house and it's in your third house. So it's like very restriction of the mind, you know, having to really think before you speak and actually noticing repercussions for when you vocalize things incorrectly. So I just think that this is one of those weeks where you want to follow your intuition a little bit instead of thinking everything through. And I think that as you follow your intuition for how razor sharp your mind is right now, Aquarius, even just putting a little bit of effort into your emotional realm and having those two parts of you align, I think it will yield very great results and will help you break free from the shackles that aren't even that tight and aren't even that, what's the word? Restrictive. You know, I think that a lot of you are imposing restrictions upon yourself, and I think that this is a time where you can break free from that because you should be allowed to, you know, self-express yourself as much as you want. And I feel like that's kind of like a nudge towards like the solar eclipse in your 7th house, you know, like show up as you. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Aquarius. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you. Okay, now moving on to Pisces rising. So hello, Pisces. If you're seeing this, this would be your horoscope for August 10th through August 16th. I've written down everything that I want to talk about, of course. And for you, the highlight of the week is definitely, for all of us, the solar eclipse in Leo, which is taking place on the 12th and in your 6th house. So pretty interesting energy. I think that it will feel very underwhelming for you. The reason why I would imagine that this will be like a difficult process is because this is the 6th house. So it's like things have a tendency to pile up very quickly. So my piece of advice to you, Pisces, is take care to not impose too many responsibilities on yourself. Definitely try to bite off the appropriate amount, because I think that this is one of those transits where it's like there will be a tendency to bite off more than you can chew at one time, you know, and it will pile up very quickly. And it's not so much about the weight of something, but more so the consistency of it all, you know, Pisces. And I think that a lot of y'all can sometimes struggle with staying consistent with things. So definitely pick your battles very wisely when it comes to the solar eclipse, especially because on the 15th, 3 days after the eclipse, we're going to see Jupiter come into, or Mercury come into conjunction with Jupiter. And so, you know, Jupiter is your traditional ruler, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. Mercury rules your 4th and your 7th house. It's kind of giving responsibilities to your partners, to your home, your family, your relationships. And Jupiter also has ties with your 10th house. So it's like, you're really going to feel this because all your angular houses are in some way involved, all the rulers, and it's all in your 6th house. So right now, I think that a lot of you are in like a major limbo when it comes to reorganizing your life and seeing where it is that's like energy that you should be putting towards. Do I want to pursue my career? Do I want to get married? Do I want to be with my person? Do I want to move? You know, it's just, and it's like all of these different things are interacting with each other in a way where it's like you may be finding it difficult to see what your priorities are. And I think that solar eclipse in Leo will kind of help you with that by showing you like this is what you need to be focusing on right now. Like this is most important. And Leo is about romance, it's about self-expression, it's about ego and children. So it may be that these topics are somehow bleeding into every aspect of your life, and you're having to think about this before you move forward in other areas. So And then on the beginning of the week, on the 10th, we will see Venus come into an opposition with Neptune. And this is between your second and your eighth house. Yeah, Venus just moved into your eighth house and she's in an opposition to Neptune in your second house. So definitely a lot of confusion here when it comes to resources, self-worth. Venus has ties with your third house as well. So Venus like rules like conscious efforts in your chart. So I think that a lot of you are making conscious efforts to reorganize something, especially if you're trying to like refinance stuff or like sort out money stuff. But this could also be like karma in relationships, you know, like eighth house, like this very karma. And then Libra is about relationships and balance. So on one hand, I'm kind of seeing it as like a lot of you could be going through like legal matters when it comes to like money and trying to find ways to like scavenge up some stuff. And Neptune is making that very like confusing because a lot of you may be feeling like you're dreaming up schemes, but then Venus and Libra is kind of like checking that part of you. On the other hand, it also kind of just seems like partnerships and relationships right now, the way that you communicate in them, the way that it affects your mind and your daily habits and the way you show up, it may be like a very confusing energy. And I think that Venus opposing Neptune could like really exaggerate this and make boundaries very unclear. So I think that this is one of those weeks where like you really want to proceed with caution in your partnerships. And like I said, don't bite off more than you can chew. Be careful what you say because people will have a tendency to hold you to what you say. And you need to be able to follow up, especially with, you know, a solar eclipse in your sixth house, like responsibilities. But I think that with the South Node being involved in your sixth house, you may be noticing that you're kind of moving away from certain responsibilities. On the 11th as well, Mars will move into Cancer, and this is your fifth house. So especially if you have children, this may be a part of your life that just gets lit up, especially like at a financial point of view because Mars rules your second house. But for others of you, I also think that this could be something about like pursuing creativity, investing in children, investing in your self-expression, investing in, you know, like the fifth house is like our ego, our like self, our fun, our romances, and Cancer is about like home, family, and the mother. And together, you know, Mars is about like conflict and taking action. So it's kind of giving like taking action when it comes to beautifying your home, making your home a comfortable place for yourself, nesting essentially. And this doesn't necessarily have to be that a lot of you are just like having kids and like living in a home or whatnot. It could just be that a lot of you are like wanting to assert your will more, excuse me, by the way, when it comes to your family and your home, you know, like wanting to establish independence, wanting to do the things that you want to do, having more freedom. You know, Mars is like very moody in Cancer as well. So this could be translating into your love life, but this could also be translating into your personal life where you are feeling very frustrated, maybe even tied down because you're wanting to make certain things happen for yourself, but you may be kind of feeling like there's other parts of your life that are restricting that. And in the middle of the week, we will see the moon move through Virgo, your seventh house. It will square Uranus and trine Chiron. So I think the middle of the week it will entail, especially with like Mars in a moon ruled sign, a lot of you may be feeling like very explosive and unpredictable in the middle of the week. And even at the end of the week, when the moon moves through Libra, it will conjunct Venus, trine Uranus, oppose Saturn and Neptune, and square Mars. So the beginning of the week, it kind of just gives like, okay, like you need to do this, this, and this, and this is how it will be taken care of. And then as the week progresses, it's kind of giving like, no, like I'm gonna do it this way, this is what I want to do, like this is what I think is right. And I think that a lot of you could be running into like some sort of like a resource or like money because the moon will conjunct Venus in Libra and in your eighth house. So it's giving like a partner gives you money, like something comes through with like, you know, like social media, or like an application goes through, a grant comes through, you know, especially if you're dealing with anything with like the SSI. Or this could also just be that there is something going on here where you're being given a certain amount of money, but it is to be purposed for something in particular because Saturn's involved. But with that square to Mars, a lot of you may just be feeling frustrated because you're not able to do the things and express yourself the way that you're used to. And Mars and Cancer really wants security. It wants to be like the head of the house. So it's like kind of giving like wanting to be the head of the house in some aspect of your life. This doesn't just have to be about your home and relationships. It could be about something else, but I'm talking in metaphors here since like Mars and Cancer is such a potent energy. But overall, I just think that with the North Node in your 12th house, a lot of you are moving towards like your independence and wanting to be alone in some way and wanting to define yourself. But I'm thinking because like Aquarius is about like the collective and the 12th house. So it's like, I think that a lot of you, it's kind of, it's kind of important that you don't care so much about what others think of you, or it's kind of important that you don't get too wrapped up in like trends and what's going on in the world. For you, get the Princess of Swords. It definitely seems like there's like a flow of information this week with Venus being on the move and with so many things happening with Venus because of, you know, her rulership over your third house. So I think that this is one of those weeks where it's like you really want to shoot your shot and throw your words into the dark, send those applications out, talk to those people, make the first move. Don't be afraid, because I think that a lot of you will be surprised by how many people actually want to connect and communicate with you. Also, would this be a cute thumbnail? I think that'd be cute. Okay. But yeah, I think that this week you'll learn a lot of new things. A lot of you will have like an overwhelming amount of information about different facets of your life. And it may just be like you're wanting to take more control over it, but you're having to take your time because of the responsibilities that you have right now. That's the way to put it. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the horoscope resonated. And if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. I love you.